Today we are learning about Chapter 1, Lesson 8 on pages 55 through 58 in your textbook and online. Our I can statement for today is I can order whole numbers and decimals. Vocabulary is decimal. Question 1, when comparing numbers, it is important to line up the numbers by their blank points. Question 2, another way to compare numbers is to use a blank line. Okay, so if you look at page 55 in your textbook, they have this first example that shows the cost of 3 football stadiums. So it gives you this little chart over here. So here are the cost of the stadiums in millions, and it tells you the first way you can do this is just to line up the place values. So you're going to line up the numbers by their decimal points. So you have to make sure these decimal points line up. So even if they just said here 430 or 350, you could put on the decimal of 0 tenths, so 430 and 0 tenths, which is what they did here, annexing those zeros, putting it on. Remember, it doesn't change the value. So looking at those, we have to compare the digits, starting with the greatest place. So we're going to start over here in the hundreds then. Remember, we move left to right. So we're starting on this place, and we can already see that $430 million is the largest cost. So that would be our greatest. Then we're looking for our next greatest. So it's between these two, and they both have a 3 in the hundreds, so we have to move to the next place value. And this number has a 6, and this number has a 5. So we know that our next greatest number is 364 and 2 tenths. And then our least would be 350. So another way to do this would be to use a number line. So that can kind of just show you how to estimate. You just place the dots on the number line to represent where they might be. So we're starting with, they just started with 350, kind of near our lowest, and then they just made it to 450, their number line. And they just kind of did it in these intervals of 375, 400, 425, and 450. So if we're just doing this offhand and we're just looking at it, we know 350 would be right here. 364.2, it's going to be about somewhere in between 350 and 375. And then the Ford Field in Detroit, 430, would be all the way over here. So I'll show you what that looks like if we plug the numbers in. Okay, so you can see it just gives us what we found out by using place values. Same thing. This is our least to greatest, but if you were to order them from greatest to least, you just know to start over here. Okay, now I want to show you a resource that can really help you practice this skill. So if you go to your MyMath website, make sure you're under Chapter 1, Lesson 8, and you can click on Resources. And if you look under Watch, there is a little interactive guide that can help you compare these. You can just go through and practice comparing different decimals and lining them up. All right, so look back at these two questions and fill in those blanks. Look back in the video if you need to, and look online in your textbook, and don't forget to try out that interactive page that's under the resources on your MyMath website.